What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to the I'm not sure where my hands were going. Chariot Friends. Justin here. This is perfect energy for what I want to talk about today, Cancer. Justin here, and I hope you're feeling childlike today, Cancer. Hope you're feeling just playful, just kind of fun energy. We'll get into that. For those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support is just epic, Cancer, just always, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy to have yourself as brought you here. We're in for an amazing journey. Now, the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have that lovely Cancerian frequency in your chart, sun, moon, rising, matter Cancer, this one's for you. I'm just happy to see you. And for those, and I do tarot card spreads based off our ruler here, the good old moon, because she's bringing it, Cancer, and I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's going void. Of course, there's all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Let's jump into it. Because I've been serving a work salad a bit here, Cancer, so I'm just trying to, there it is. Cancer, your space has been cleansed. Crystals. There's something about this Mercury retrograde, I think. It's just got me a little tongue-tied. Feeling lovely. Just great angel around here, Cancer. Speaking of Mercury, happy Mercury Day, Cancer. I didn't plan that. Mercury rules or is associated with Wednesdays. This is a great day for getting mentally stimulated there, Cancer. This could be doing some studying. This could be going over if you have a lot of documents that you need to review, any sort of detailed work that needs to be done. Mercury days can be great for that, for getting things organized, for just a lot of processing power that comes with Mercury. Great day for communication. Maybe you're going to call your friends. Maybe you're setting up a business meeting. This could be, really play around with these energies, Cancer. Usually when I release my videos, I've been playing around with them, and I've been releasing them on Mercury days, or during like Mercury hours, and then I have on my other channel, I'll release them during Mercury days, and so just kind of playing around with that. It's a great day for, just processing information. And I feel too, Mercury is one that deals with our day-to-day. So I feel like this can be a great day of just kind of looking into how efficient your routine is. Or is there something is there a way that maybe your day could flow a little bit smoother? So that's something to even consider there, Cancer. And Cancer, and this is something we can maybe incorporate there, Cancer, a little fun into your routine there, to your ritual. You know what, Cancer, I was just actually thinking about that sidebar. I was doing the laundry, and I was getting ready to start doing some groaning, but then I thought, you know what, this is just part of my everyday rituals. And I feel like when you approach them like that, it makes them it changes the tone of it than when you again. Then I just do you. It's just like it changes the whole vibe there, Cancer. But Cancer also, you can see why I'm so giddy, because the moon is we're still in a waxing gibbous moon in Leo. And I really like when Leo is on the waxing end of a lunar cycle, because Leo is that, what I was picturing, or the thing that I was absolutely, what I was getting with this energy here, Cancer, was that, think about yourself, that energy of when you're thinking about a kid and they're going to become, in like the cartoons when they're, you'd have these like really crazy moments and then they become like a superhero or something like that. That's what I feel these energies are doing right now. It's wanting us to, the moon's wanting us to channel into that childlike bravery. Because there's, kids can be very resilient when they need to be, when they can show up in ways that could really kind of surprise you. And I feel that this energy is summoning that inner hero within you there, Cancer, even in the face of challenges, like you can, against all odds, I'm just thinking about like, just like when you think about like Saturday cartoons, I may be dating myself there, Cancer, but when you think about like the Saturday cartoons, and you'd see the protagonist, and they're in this sort of like really crazy situation. They've lost all their powers. Everything's against them. The world's about to end. And then through a glimmer of hope, in a really long speech, they summon up this courage, build this thing, and then they shine brighter and then save the day. And everything just kind of comes together. And that's what this waxing energy is about. It's what I feel when we're getting in that waxing gibbous energy, the moon is starting to form a trine with the sun, and it's a waxing trine. So now the energies are flowing a bit more smoothly, and we've learned from when we were in that square energy, when we were having some conflicts with some things. And this is that adjustment phase now. This is keeping that hope, because now when we get to the full moon, whatever it is that you set off during that eclipse that is happening is going to start sprouting its first kind of seeds here, Cancer. We're still in the early stages of this manifestation. You know, the lunar cycle, I feel, gives bite-sized chunks for a much larger picture when we're thinking about this, Cancer. You know, it's almost like when you think about the lunar return chart compared to the solar return. The moon gives us a day by day type of thing to kind of check in on. You know, but the sun gives us a little bit longer to kind of focus on, gives a little bit longer to kind of process. And then, you know, so I feel this is the time to enjoy, and enjoy the process, and to have that faith, you know, that things are going to turn out the way that, because that's a big theme that's playing into this Jupiter conjunction with Uranus, for example, that's happening, depending on when you're watching this, is going to be happening on, I think I got my days all, oh shoot, I think I do got my days mixed up a little bit. I was doing another channel, and I think I got something mixed up a little bit. But we're having that conjunction on Saturday. I think I said it was happening on Friday. But we're having that conjunction on Saturday, and that the Sabian symbol behind that, and I'm going to get a little bit more on that when we talk about the full moon, but the Sabian symbol for that talks about that faith, talks about that hope, and I feel Leo builds that up. It keeps that enthusiasm. You know, the sun is a reminder that even when it's setting, it may be dark for a while. We need to intuit our way and feel our way through this journey. But that's the thing, Cancer. The thing about the moon, you know, it's about a feeling, and it's keeping that feeling. You know, like against all, you know, like it's gonna manifest, Cancer. I feel things are cooking. So just keep that. That's the energy that I'm getting with this. This is keeping that faith, and then it's like we're gonna take that and then turn that into a more kind of practical application there, Cancer. So just something to think about and kind of meditate on with this energy. And if you're curious about how this is functioning in your chart there, Cancer, book a reading with me. I have links down in the description box below. I offer different tarot card readings depending on the time that you have there, Cancer. And I also offer chart readings as well. We can go over things like a month by month basis. I'm getting some other things cooked up there, Cancer, as far as like maybe doing some sort of like plans or something along those lines, doing something a little bit more extended, because it's one thing to work for like a month, but it's nice to have that sort of like consistent type of check-in there, Cancer. So I'm working something out with that. But I feel especially for those, if you have Cancer in your kind of like personal planets there, you know, the sun, moon, rising, Mercury, Venus, Mars, you know, paying attention to where the moon's at, where the cycles is syncing up is important. And even just knowing how the moon is acting in relationship to your other placements and from relationship to your own moon really can play a big factor in their, Cancer. And even thinking about, I was just talking with someone there with their sun in Scorpio. I was going over their kind of solar return chart, and they got a lot of big stuff that's coming, a lot of big things that are going to be thinking about, but it just gives you a time to get prepared. You know, that's what astrology is for, not to tell you like, oh, you're doomed to this. It's like, oh, the energies are supporting this. And just for example, with the one with the sun in Scorpio, she has a lot of momentum. It was a lot of energy of just like, hey, this is the time to get moving, to like, what do you want to do right now? Because the universe is supporting that. Like, it's like really kind of behind whatever you're cooking, whatever you're putting down, the universe is picking up. So let's drop it like it's hot. And so it's just something that you can work with there, Cancer. Get in a better flow of you and just feel like you're just more in sync with yourself there, Cancer. So yeah, if that's something that's resonated with you, definitely check that information down in the description box there, Cancer. And feel free to, if you have any other questions or anything, feel free to DM me on Instagram. And I'm working on getting stuff on with Facebook too. You would think I know how technology works, but believe it or not, I was disconnected from social media for like 10 years. So you'll have to forgive me. I literally was hiding in a cave. But that's all I got for you there, Cancer. But the last few things, these readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And then the decks that I'm working with, along as with the readers that I Cancer, I'm doing actually on Jupiter Day tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this, I'm doing a live with on the Ears of Wisdom. The lips of wisdom, the voice. With as much support and love as she shows me, you think I would have her. Jamie, forgive me. But I will be going live. I will. It's down in the description box below there, Cancer. But I will be going live, and I'll just be talking more about the services and kind of like my journey through like astrology, how it's kind of helped me get to where I'm at now. Because believe it or not, Cancer, yes, I still had that same kind of Leo optimism because I have a stack of Leo on my chart, Cancer. But I was definitely more so an emotional, over emotional party animal. So it was something else, but. Yeah, I'll be doing that, but she's been a wonderful supporter, and she does really great work. She has a couple of channels. One of them is a Cancer exclusive as well, so that's really fantastic. I feel the Cancerian frequency is really kind of coming together, and we're really, really, really stepping up and doing the healing. So that's been very encouraging. And then she does a lot of work as far as like with mental health. She has a book club that she's doing. Just has a very strong community, very inspiring. So, and it's been getting me how to think about how to do that. I got an idea that I want to do, Cancer, and it's still in the planning phases, but. Yeah, she's been an inspiration, so definitely check her out, her channel, show her some love. She is a force and a joy. And so, yeah, and then I have different resources down there, Cancer, for different astrology apps and things that I love, websites, books, all sorts of things. Avail yourself there, Cancer. You know, this is something that where we learned about our energies, then we all function together better individually and collectively. It's a whole wonderful thing there, Cancer. And let's get into this reading because this has been, I feel like this is like at least the second time that this has popped up here, Cancer, because here's your Pegasus transcending, Cancer. And I love this because that's what I feel is happening. When I was talking about that analogy with the child, that inner child, I feel that it's think about when you were imagining who you wanted to be there, Cancer. It doesn't matter if you're not there, not quite there yet or not. You know, when I was a kid, my top three were first astronaut, then lawyer, then janitor. Why janitor? Because he had all the keys and he's got access. Something about that was fascinating. But yeah, and so it's thinking about that. What if you wanted to be? And thinking about that, and even if your goals have changed, you don't necessarily have to go for necessarily that per se, but I do feel like it's coming at your life now with that childlike wonder, that childlike that no, there is no limit to the imagination. I was reading something the other day, speaking of Leo, where it was talking about the outer planets and that they weren't given planets or signs that they're exalted in. And I was reading this article that was talking about one possible thing or one possible outcome. And I kind of liked how they were talking about Neptune being exalted in Leo. And I liked that. At first I was thinking that it would be Cancer, considering that Jupiter was already exalted in Cancer, so Neptune would naturally do well in Cancer, considering its feminine energy. But I do like it a little bit more in Leo, just because of, again, that childlike imagination. And Leo too is about that energy of it's understanding yourself, this ego, this building this personality, but understanding that in the long run, we do have to let even this vessel go because there are bigger things that we're here to do, Cancer. And I feel that this is, in knowing that, it's not to be a sort of morbid thing. Leo, if anything, finds the joy in that. Can find, well, yeah, let me live like there's no tomorrow. But not in like I'm going to be reckless, because that's how I used to channel my Leo energy. It was very kind of YOLO. but it's more so a look at all the opportunities. Look at this. There's so many things that give me such life. Like, what can I create with today? Who am I going to meet today? Who am I going to play with? Who am I going to get to co-create with and get into, remember as kids, you'd create this imaginary worlds together. We used to co-create so differently when we grow than we do as adults. It was something that was fun. And that's where I feel this energy of transcendence and this ascension. It doesn't have to be just all this super stressful. And that's what Leo reminds us of all the zodiac signs. Leo reminds us to have fun. I would say the other zodiac signs that may be rivals that would be like Sagittarius when the moon's in Sag, and that's a very uplifting energy. Even moon and Aries, the fire signs, are just uplifting. It's an excitement about this transcendence that's happening here. But let's have a little fun, Cancer. Let's get some tarot on this. Let's use our imaginations and get some details with. Oh, and look at them, we get freaking Big Papa here, Jupiter, and that's actually really funny, Cancer. Oh, I'm so glad that actually happened. Okay, we're going to talk about that because that's really, the universe is talking. All right, oh, there's Pluto here. Fascinating. So Cancer, thank you, higher self. Before we get into this, I have these dice, and I'm thinking about doing something with the other channel, like either some kind of shorts or something. It's still coming together. But you have to take my word for it on this. I had rolled earlier before I did this. It was Jupiter and Leo in the first house. That was what rolled up here. These dice have planets, signs, and numbers representing the houses. They're 12-sided dice. And Jupiter's here, Leo's here. First house, I have Jupiter in Leo in the first house. So that in itself was already kind of auspicious. So Cancer, you have Big Papa here, the Wheel of Fortune, who's going to be doing his grand conjunction here soon with Uranus. You have Pluto here, the Eon card or the Judgment card. Libra, the Adjustment card or the Justice card. The Queen of Wands, the Four of Cups, and the Ten of Swords here, Cancer. And with the Ten of Swords, because with transcending, Cancer, well, it's talking about houses. Before we get to the first house and start all over again, and before we reach into that chapter here, the Eon card is getting close to the end. That's the second to last stop before we get to the world and get to the end of that period of time. This reminds me of the 12th house stuff with this Ten of Swords and the pain that can come with letting something go. Because when we do transcend, we are leaving something behind. The universe always balances out. It's always fair. It's always just with the Adjustment card here. We always get our abundance. There's always enough abundance for us and enough fortune. Cancer, you started off abundant. And you came before you even, because you started off abundant. Cancer, you came here abundant. And this energy here, I feel, is making it's not letting that, it's not making light of a chapter closing, Cancer, because there's a lot of memories that come with that. There's it gives this Four of Cups is giving me there's this comfort here because this is the moon in Cancer, and the moon is domicile in Cancer. And sometimes I feel it's like when she moves from Leo or from Cancer into Leo, she takes all that introspective energy and she's putting it out there. She's having fun. And I feel that there's this energy here of where we find peace in that we can take the lessons from the past, and it's like we're translating it here with a different energy with the Queen of Wands. They're coming with a different maturity with this. And I like that we were talking about that because when we're in this right now with the moon being in Leo, she'd be forming that trine with the sun, which is a harmonious aspect. It's an energy of movement, and it's... And the thing is, Cancer, the Queen of Wands, it's not just that the energies are moving, it's giving you, it's an indication that the wheel is turning. And I feel like Big Papa is about the faith. One thing's when it comes to him in your chart. Where can we grow, and where do we find that faith? Me having Jupiter in the first house, where my self-esteem, how I believe in myself matters. How I show up in the world. I not necessarily faking the bigness, but acknowledging where I'm at in that day, but knowing that I do have the capacity for that. I can affect things in a very kind of big sort of way. And so it's where you're lucky at, when you think of Jupiter. It's where you find this fortune. But I feel that when I'm getting with this intention, when we come, I feel, with that energy of hope and optimism and think that childlike imagination that anything is possible, even in the face of adversity. The reason Jupiter doesn't just give luck because he doesn't just make you lucky. He helps you see opportunity. See things to take a chance at. The Sagittarius side of Jupiter goes for it. It's like, oh, that could be something. I've never experienced that before. What is that? That's that Sagittarius side of Jupiter. And that's what I feel like he wants us to do with that. When we get in those optimistic energies, we may have just came through a challenge, but what do we learn from that? We did get something valuable. And so now we can approach this again and see what happens when we get to that full moon energy, when we get to this. Because the Eon card is a card of transcendence. We're ending a different phase here. And I feel like we are, with this big energy that's happening with Jupiter and Uranus forming that conjunction, they're starting a brand new cycle. And this is happening in Taurus. So, how do you want to transcend? What do you value, Cancer? How do you see your value, and what you can actually bring, Cancer? So, and I'm getting with the adjustment card too. One last thing, Cancer. I'm getting that there's this, if there's this energy where we're feeling that maybe things haven't been fair, maybe we haven't felt like you haven't gotten yours. Because this is giving me, Four of Cups can be a stuck energy. The fours represents stability, this foundation, but when you keep water still for a long time and there's no motion, it gets murky. It starts to accumulate stuff, and the water needs to get moving. But I feel it's knowing that everyone is meant for transcendence. It's not meant for a select few. We're all going to have the capacity to raise up, to level up, to get that, to start off with Big Papa, to start with fortune, Cancer. So, you were prosperous, Cancer, yesterday. You're transcending today. So, I love this. Let's get some more. All right, Cancer. Thank you, higher self. Let's see what else is happening. All right, Cancer. So you have the 3 of disc, the 4 of disc, the 7 of disc, the 2 of wands, the 5 of wands, and then the 3 of swords here, Cancer. And this is an interesting little pocket here, because you get with the 3 of swords and the 7 of pentacles. The 3 of Swords is giving me this. It's a melancholy, but I feel like maybe we're not sure of where we're transcending to. Maybe there's a fear of taking the leap of faith with the Queen of Wands, because there's a lot of work that would maybe involved with it. Maybe it's changing the relationship with. Because it's one thing when you have a dream, Cancer, But then I feel, and it's kind of very Pisces, when you have this dream, have this stuff, but then when you can see the capacity to make it real, to really kind of get it grounded, and there can be this almost like maybe disillusionment with it, possibly, or this maybe even disenchantment. And it's not that it wouldn't be fulfilling, Cancer, but there's just something frustrating here. I feel like, as far as like maybe the work that's needing to be done, the process maybe take longer than we would like to, because this is Mars and Aries, ready to get things moving, you've made the choice. But I feel like it's keeping that energy, Cancer, keeping that the right now, how I'm picturing this, it's almost like with Mars still kind of being in Pisces, because when we set off this lunar cycle, Mars was a big role in this because he's the guardian of all of that energy, and he was reflecting in Pisces and still is. But what I feel is going to happen, and I already feel like the signs are kind of popping up there, Cancer. It's paying attention. It's that Jupiter energy. It's paying attention to the little things. Where yes, maybe because you got the Seven of Discs is a card of failure, Three of Swords is a card of sorrow, Ten of Swords is a card of ruin. We got a lot of stuff, but it's being mindful of what we're manifesting, because if that's all we're seeing, then we're missing a bigger picture, because Jupiter is about a bigger picture. And even the Eon card, Pluto energy, it's seeing something a bit deeper here. And that's what I feel like when we have this Mercury retrograde that's happening, the energies are setting stuff up for a reason. And it's just like, it's one thing to be experiencing in real time, but then when you're able to reflect on it afterwards, it's just like, oh, okay, right, okay, right, this is okay, I'm on track. Because maybe it's just like, sometimes when you're in these conflicts, Cancer, sometimes that can be a verifier that the universe is like, no, you're doing great. This is exactly what we need. We need this little bit of resistance because this is spurring an action. This is a catalyst for something here. Two of Wands, these choices are actively being made here. Queen of Wands, we're following the sun. The Queen of Wands usually has the sunflowers in her deck, but the Queen of Wands in this one, she's on fire. she's got all this heat underneath her. She's ready to get going. But look at how poised the Queen of Wands is. Even though she's got all this heat, she's being patient. She's got her hand is like just resting on this cheetah here. She knows that when it's time, she'll go get it. But there's this wise energy, because the Queen of Wands for me is Aries energy, and there is that instinct with Aries that knows, it's like, hold on, Mars hasn't, my guardian hasn't quite given that. There's still something that's needing to be letting go of, something that still is coming into place. Here's what I feel, Cancer. And this Four of Disc, I feel, is asking to reach into. I think of the Four of Disc sometimes as a vault, and I feel like this is tapping into your inner vault there, Cancer, tapping into this inner power. For this is a card of power. This is your foundation, and I feel this is you really having a clear understanding of who you are, where you're going. The fourth disc is the sun in Capricorn, and that's shining a light on that Capricorn area. What do you want to be? Where do you see yourself going? Where do you want to invest? Where do you want to put the work in? And I feel this is something, Cancer, that in this transcendent, it's collaborative work. There are, like, for example, like, I mean, I'm on this journey doing this thing, and when I started this channel like years ago, it was just something that was more so like a thing to, of course I wanted to be of service and to help others, but it's helping me as well. It's like processing my stuff. Not that I necessarily read for myself, but the fact that I'm in this space, in this energy, has been a very kind of healing thing, and the community that it's brought has been very uplifting and very kind of healing towards my journey. But I've been, you never know who you're affecting in what you're doing, and knowing yourself, because, I've just been kind of doing myself, and then came across someone, and we have there's this great bond that is forming here, and that's the beauty of this journey here, Cancer. And this sorrow, this Three of Swords, the Seven of this Ten of Ten of Swords. It's all a part of the process. There are going to be times where we feel frustrated, where things don't quite manifest like you thought they would, where, you feel like maybe the universe is like, what are we doing, universe? Like, okay. And sometimes in those moments, I find when I'm really frustrated or feeling like, what's going on, universe, higher self, if I'm feeling like, all right, you know what? I'm feeling a little frazzled, feeling a little disconnected. Let me just surrender for a minute. Let's pause. Just pause and then and see what that means. Because you know what? You do have a lot of Saturn energy here, Cancer. Five of Wands, Three of Swords, Seven of Discs here. Patience, Cancer, because things are going to get moving. Because there also is a lot of Sun here. Ten of Swords, Four of Discs. Let's get some advice from the Sun. And the Sun's here, Cancer. I mean, come on. And this is going to be an important time, I feel, to absolutely game plan. Know what your values are, Cancer. Know where you're wanting to go. And I don't mean, like, it doesn't have to be, like, super stuff, but it's like, maybe I want to change the way that I'm eating. Maybe I want to change the way that I'm sleeping. Maybe I want to change my rituals that I'm doing. Like, add rituals, take out certain things. Oh, there's Saturn. So think of yourself. Let's see what's going on here, Cancer. Oh, and there's Leo. I love it, Cancer. All right. So, and I do like this, Cancer, and I feel like this really, okay. So you got a lot going on here. So there's the Knight of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the Nine of Discs, and the Prince of Discs, the Six of Swords, the Moon, the Hanged Man, the Lust card, and the Universe here, Cancer. And that's your last stop. Let's switch back over, because we were just talking about Saturn, that you got a lot of Saturn energy here, and the world is, I feel what's happening, Cancer, in this beginning. I feel that this eclipse, the start of this lunar cycle, there was a lot of, I feel like not just individual energy that was going on, but I feel like a lot of collective attention went to this eclipse. Whether you had a clear view of it or not, the intention was there, and I feel like there was more of a conscious intention of that. And what I feel, Cancer, is that what's happening here is that this is a time to be patient right now with this transcendence. I feel that when we start getting through that Jupiter energy, the eclipse, I feel, opened up something. It just like, it showed you your strength. What you truly desire, what you yearn for, and then now the Hanged Man is asking you to sit in that. These things that come up, what has been kind of spurring up in here, Cancer. And then it's really asking you, there's some hard closures that's coming through here. Some things that where the Nine of Swords, I feel like they're bringing up anxieties, they're bringing up fears. And this is something where maybe there may be a lot of doubt that's going on, I feel, with the Nine of Swords. Maybe this could be because Nine of Swords is a hard one. This is a card of cruelty in this deck. And so I feel like where your mind's at, be aware of that, Cancer. Where things may seem tough right now. If a situation, I'm not, because things may be moving swimmingly there, Cancer. And this is a time where our thoughts are very powerful. This is a time to, I feel like, if you've been struggling with something, maybe you're looking to maybe different practices. Maybe this is working with affirmations. Maybe this is journaling about your thoughts. Maybe it's doing some sort of creative work. Maybe this is looking to get some sort of, Cancer. It's a tough one. I feel sometimes with this journey, but I feel a lot of the moon is this uncertainty right now. But the nice thing about it, Cancer, is that Cancerian energy is solid with uncertainty, believe it or not. You know, I feel we're better than we realize because we are under guardianship of the moon. We have to feel a lot to navigate through this world. We have to, and we have to be able to, or not have to, but it helps to be able to know understand the fluctuations, know what you're working with the Knight of Swords being here, Cancer. And I feel there's a lot of the situations that have happened up until this point. You know, I feel like this isn't a time to, with the nine of Swords, to be beating yourself up there, Cancer, about the coulda, shoulda, wouldas with the Six of Swords. We're here now, so what can you do now? You know, like the past has been made. All there is moving forward and keeping that tenacity, because this is Taurus energy for me, the Prince of Disc. And we're getting ready to get into Taurus season. And this is a slower energy still. You know, and it's going to be, we'll be building up this stellium. And this, again, it's a patient energy, but I feel that it's something that by the time I feel that when Big Papa moves into Gemini, that people are going to start talking more about their ideas. They're going to start seeing things a little bit differently, seeing opportunities a bit more, mind is just going to open up. Possibilities, I feel like, are going to open up. And it's going to be this is a time I feel like to really start. It'll be a time of learning, of great learning, of communicating and collaboration. I feel for sure will be a very powerful play for this individual and collective transcendence. You know, it's going to be a time of, again, but it does start here, Cancer, with the Nine of Disc being here. This is pre-Empress energy. We're working on the abundance that you do have, the gifts that you are bringing, the wealth that is you. So be thinking about that. I like that. Six of Swords. We're on new horizons here. Understanding the complexity, the science of you, Cancer, and what you can bring and what that means. How this is. I'm picturing this formula coming together here, Cancer. It's just like all this geometry just floating around and equations coming together. It's the universe is doing some wonderful things. So, all right, but I think I'm going to leave that there, Cancer. And if anything resonated with you, if you like that, I hope so, with this transcending, because I feel like I'm always hopeful, Cancer. Big Papa's conjunct my ascendant, so I can't help but give off that optimism, you know. And that's how I view things. You know, I've always kind of been a low key optimist. Well, back then, before I was working on myself, I was a low key optimist, but now I'm just a high key optimist. So that's been fun. I mean, I don't have to be, but it's been fun to explore that Jupiter in the first house of Leo like that, to bring it bigger, to know that you can bring it bigger and to have fun with it and not have to worry about it, just kind of wave flags. But yeah, Cancer. And then share this if you know someone who's been struggling with this, because I feel that there's something I've noticed in the Cancer, and I remember Jamie was talking about this too on her channel, that's just like Cancers have been really just, Cancer energy's just been kind of stepping it up. I feel it's been because Cancer energy is complicated. You know, it's every sign has its thing. Our thing is the emotions and understanding. But it's understanding through the moon. You know, if we observe those emotions and understanding where your moon is, how that plays and how it plays in connection with your moon, and how the moon plays in connection with your other chart or with the rest of your chart as well, and just observing those nuances. There, Cancer, when the moon's in Scorpio, you know, that's a time I've learned to kind of be by myself, because there's a lot of energy that's going on. The moon's having a conversation with a lot of points and planets in my chart. He hits up like 70% of them, I want to say, when I'm really kind of thinking about it. So, yeah. So I think she hits everything but my moon placement, now that I'm thinking about it. So that's a time for me to kind of really just be. That's a time of transformation, of personal transcendence. So, but then subscribe there. Look where you're going to be today. Can you fortune? You wheel of fortune? Hit that bell button. You know, find all these videos each day. I love that you start off with Big Papa. And then last few things there, Cancer. Yeah, if you're curious about how these energies are working into your chart, you know, because even understanding too where the moon is, where she's transiting through your sign, when she's going through my when she's in Leo, she's going through my first house. So if you have a Leo rising, that's usually, depending, sometimes it could be when you have a Cancer rising too, she may end up in there, depending on what degree that falls in. But yeah, the moon is going through my first house, so that is, I always feel kind of really revitalized around the moon, and the moon in Cancer is usually going through my 12th house, so that's usually a time where I'm kind of more withdrawn and kind of in myself, and maybe need a little more rest. But then she's out to play when the moon's in Leo. So this is nice to know how you can work with those energies as well for yourself there, Cancer, and be able to get in more of a flow, get more of a ritual as opposed to a routine. I'm very much about routines, and I love that. But the idea of being it more of a ritual seems just, again, more approachable. But we can develop different rituals for you there. Get on a moon, help you work with your moon cycle more. Because where it is nice to check in and get like another opinion on stuff. Astrology is about helping you get the tools as well, help it to be digestible enough for you so you can at least get through your day to day, and like, okay, the moon's in Gemini for me, I'm a moon in Leo, that is a time for me to be a bit more social, a bit more gregarious and things. And but when it is in Taurus or in Scorpio, for example, if you're Leo moon, it's like, I'm a tap out. But yeah, let's check out that stuff, Cancer. All that information's in the description box below or on the bio page of my LinkedIn or my Instagram. And I think I'm actually going to be making a LinkedIn. I'm going to take some photos today here, Cancer, get some stuff set up. But yes, and check out my other channel, Cancer Alchemist 8. I do talk about the weekly transits there, what is going on in the heavens, when the celestial bodies are, because they're just always a chatting. So, and there's some big stuff, of course, as you see, there's big stuff that's just been happening. This has been we got an interesting couple of years. The outer planets are doing a lot. So, yeah, check that stuff out there, Cancer, if you want to see how that stuff's checking in your chart. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get you surprise cards here, Cancer. Ooh, so I can get you out of here. Look at you, you magician. Manifesting. I was actually looking at that, Cancer, and I thought that was really fascinating. So, when I was talking about your power on the Four of Disc, tapping into that vault, Cancer, there are the different element arrows on this one for earth, wind, fire, and water. And the Magician is a representation of all of those tools in you, Cancer. Because whether you have, everyone has Cancer in their chart. If you don't have any planets or points in there, it falls on a house. And we all have these different powers. It may not be necessarily a big focus, but there's a certain area that energy is highlighted in. And there is depending on where that's at. And I feel that the Magus card is the Magician, Mercury energy, especially with Mercury being retrograde right now still. Reflecting on the gifts that you have and what... And I don't just mean when I say what value it brings, I don't just mean in a material sense. I mean this could be where you have a skill in bringing up maybe someone's self-esteem. Maybe you have a skill, maybe you're an excellent teacher or mentor, or you have something that can bring someone a skill that they can work with. Maybe you're big fitness nut and you have all these different exercises to do at your seat, so you can do your workouts while you're doing at your office and cubicle and keep from what are some things that you're bringing like that, because it's bringing those gifts to the table. Like I love herbology. I may actually start working with that deck on the next lunar cycle, but there's a deck that I love that has all these working with plants and things. So I love sharing with people different fitness things that I come across, or health trends, from grounding to working with crystals to working with all the things. So, but this journey is about, and what I feel is really being an emphasis here, especially with Pluto in Aquarius, is harnessing those unique gifts, understanding those gifts and how they do play into the collective. Because you doing one thing, you don't know how that affects another person and what they're doing and what the capacity that they're going to bring, and then what they can bring back for you. And it's not doing that expecting something. That's Jupiter in Leo. When I was talking about that energy, it is a giving. There's this giving without, again, without expecting receiving. I used to say that, and let me get your other card here. I used to say that I'm a gift. When I was visiting a friend one year for their 30th, I think it was their 30th or 31st birthday, and oh, come on. Oh, and I'm talking about this. Oh, you'll see what I'm getting chills, Cancer. That's fantastic. I love when Spirit does that. But I was telling them that I flew over from literally across the country to go see them, and I was like, yeah, I was a gift. I was joking, but they're like, no, that's a real, you're very generous in what you were doing, and I feel like you never know how, again, how you can affect people with the gifts that you have. But Cancer, when I'm talking about all this generosity here, you got the lion spirit, which is a card. So Leo's here, the lion spirit, and this is be generous of spirit. And that's basically what I was talking about. Being generous with that galaxy that you have inside of you, Cancer. When I look over charts and things, and maybe again this might be the Jupiter and the Leo in me, but I see a whole other world. I see it's always exciting when I was looking over my friend's solar return chart, and it was the potential there, that what she could do with that is incredible. When you tap into that, when you follow that flow and listen to that intuition, and she'd been feeling something, but now this gives that confirmation, and then it just okay, well, what have you been feeling? Now we can be a bit more inquisitive. Was it areas around such and such? What is this looking like? We can expand on this stuff, and it's not, the astrology wasn't, this being generous with spirit, it wasn't you falling into a particular role. You were creating that role, because that's what Leo is about. That's why Leo is, again, so creative, or gets labeled as so creative, because they're working with that childlike energy of anything is possible. I can be literally whomever I want. I'm the sun. I can be whatever I want. And that's your sun, Cancer. You're a star. The sun is the only actual, the one actual star in the chart. So let your sun shine bright, Cancer. However you express that sun, and that's a lovely thing too. No one Cancer sun is the same. We all have a way that we process, where we intuit and feel and nurture, and it's beautiful, Cancer. I love this. This was amazing. I love this energy, Cancer. Let's take that out there and transcend. Cancer, you stay aware, stay mindful, keep eyes on the moon, be generous of spirit. Oh, give from a place of spirit. I love that. I think that's going to be a title of your thing. I'm going to catch you, Cancer. I can't wait to see you on the next one tomorrow.